We got Mr. Bob Grinstead on deck. He's got a recorded demonstration he's going to play for us, about 30, 35 minutes long. So, like Eddie was saying, if you have any questions or comments about the demonstration, please hold them till the end of the demonstration because, like I said, it's a recorded video that Bob's going to be playing for us. He's going to introduce it, talk about it as he sees fit, and I'm going to give him the floor now. So I'm going to mute everybody. So, Bob, unmute yourself. And there you go, Bob.
Okay, hi guys. Uh, what I'm going to do tonight is to show you how I made a platter. I've made several platters, but this one has a special edge on it. This is, I've forgotten what his name is now. Priddle is his last name, and I'll put it in the chat. It's a
Graham
burn.
Priddle.
Go ahead.
Graham Priddle.
All right, Graham. Yeah, there you go, Graham Priddle. It's the vaporizer that he makes out of a battery charger. And then Molly Winton, I believe, is the lady that has the actual tip that I made, and all it is a coil of wire. You can buy the wire on Amazon. This is that nicronium wire or nichrome wire or whatever they call it, but you buy it like $1 a foot. This one is an 18 gauge. That's what I made my burner out of. She, I think, normally uses smaller gauge stuff, but this worked real well for me. The advantage of his burner is that you can burn big stuff. You can make, you even take a leather tool and put a hole in it and wrap this wire around it just so that it'll heat it up like a heating iron, like a curling iron or something. And you heat it up and you can get it hot enough with this vaporizer he's got to even burn that. But you can also take it down small. Let me see if I can move this camera a minute. Take it down small enough and buy these tips that you get from Amazon. I think I bought 20 of these different tips, different blades for, I don't know, $20 or something, or $12. I don't remember exactly what it was. But his vaporizer like this right here, you can take a nail head and make your own tools, your own design that you want. So anyway, that's the advantage of the vaporizer that I can see. It's cheap. It's probably less than $50. It's $40, I think, with the tax to buy all the parts for it, as long as you already have an old battery charger sitting around. I happened to find one. My neighbor had one, and I got it from him for nothing, so that helps. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you is how I made this and how it works. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I have made several things using this same tip and enjoy it. So let me get that started.
Yeah,
So let me do a share screen and see if we can do this about that. Let's see, is he running yet? No, I don't think so.
we
How
got a
about
picture of the
Yep.
we got a picture of the plate. There we go. Now it's playing.
okay? I have the wood from my platter. Glued up. Bandsawed out a circle. And drilled a mortise in here. Put an 1/8 inch mortise to fit my 50 millimeter chuck. So now I'm ready to turn it. I can drill this on the top on the surface of the platter. So that's going to be the last thing that I do. I'm going to put this on here and turn it and turn the back of it away. Make me a tendon back here where I can hold it, a tenon, so I can hold it. And get this thing ready to burn. So let me do that.
Bob, how thick is that piece of wood?
Uh, that's probably about 9 inches.
And how thick is it?
Yeah, 9 by 3/4.
Okay.
3/4, 7/8. It's your standard run of the mill board. This happens to be beech, but it could be anything. Right, so I've got the back side, bottom of it finished. I do have a pennant on here so I can hold it. So I'm going to turn it around and finish the top of it, or not finish the top of it, but turn a little bit of the top. I don't want to turn it all the way because I do have got to put that rim on first, and then come back and turn it away. I can still use tailstock support just to keep it from trying to come off here. I don't think it would, but just in case, I'm not going to do that. And all I want to do here is to kind of bevel this edge a little bit. I just want it kind of crowned, not a whole lot of heavy crown, but just a little bit, and still leave an edge out here that I can burn. So let me get that done. That's right there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let me sand that, and we'll be ready to burn. Okay, I'm going to mark some lines on here. I can get close enough down in it won't mean a whole lot right now. It's just more for me to come back and say, hey, I'm getting kind of close here. I think that's where I want the center of the stuff to be. About right there. And let me put another one in here in the middle of it. So now if I can burn down to this, maybe that's wide enough. I think it'd look better if it was less in the middle. So we'll make it a wide ring out here. Something like that. All right, so let me talk a little bit about about this burner that I made. They call it a vaporizer. It's a Graham Priddle vaporizer. You can look on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel, and he has a write-up on how to make this. Basically, you get an old battery charger, and you take the guts out of it. Everything comes out except for the rectifier. I did leave the thermal fuse in here, and I left this switch transformer. This one doesn't do anything. This does a high and a low voltage. I don't need to get off a low. There's plenty of voltage in here. There's plenty of current. I did put and even his design, he puts a light dimmer over here, just a regular 110 light dimmer. And then I bought the little terminals to go on here and wired it all up. But it works great. The actual pin And again, this is kind of like his design. Molly Winton's got some of these too. But Molly Winton is known for this little burner up here. She takes, this is 18 gauge. I think she uses smaller gauge wire, but this is, what is it, nichronium wire. You can get it on Amazon. And you take it and hold it and you wrap it around a nail or you wrap it around a drill bit, anything that you can wrap it around. The little terminal strips, let me get that. Okay, so the Nicron wire, Nichrome wire is about $1 a foot. You can buy it sometimes cheaper in a bundle or something, but you don't need a whole lot. All you need is about 3 inches to do this. So you can make a lot of them out of 10 foot. So it was $10 that I bought the wire. I had to pay $2.98 or something like that for this terminal strip. This is, they call it a European terminal strip. So you actually take it all apart and just pull the little inserts out, the little metal inserts, and use that to terminate everything. I have a raisin rod in here. So it's a 1/8 inch raisin rod, and I've cut little short pieces. And that's what I have running inside this handle. This is a 3/4 inch piece of PVC. And I don't know if it's better down there or not, but piece of PVC. I did put some vent holes in it so it would vent. I haven't noticed this getting hot. This definitely gets hot. The 3/4 inch is plenty big. His, I think, was a bigger. Graham's, I think, was bigger than that, but 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch. That's 1/2 inch, not 3/4. So a 1/2 inch was plenty of big for what I wanted. But anyway, that's about it. I did buy some heavy gauge wire. I think I forgot what this was. Probably an 18 gauge wire, so I can hook it up to this. I was going to use banana clips and decided this is just as well just to use a spade lug, a little spade lug. And that works just as well. So that's what I'm going to do. It's easier. I did buy the others, but you don't need that. You don't need a banana clip. And so this thing turns on. It doesn't crank. You can crank up way up here, but I don't even get close to that. I take it less than 1/4 of a way, and that's plenty hot. The good thing about this, it only costs like $35 or less than $40 to make this or to convert this to this vaporizer. They call it a vaporizer because when it gets hot, it just burns. It just smokes everywhere. But I have had it go off a couple of times, because of the thermal fuse in here, and not a problem. You just let it cool off, and it'll click back, and you can go again. So let me kind of show you what this thing does. I did leave the amp meter in it, so I can see that it's putting out something. Crank it up here and get it hot, and then we'll start. And again, I've got it less than 1/4 of the way, and it'll get red hot here in a minute. And there's not a problem, there's no really lag in here too much. But all you're doing is burning. and you just come up with some type of a pattern that you want on here, and kind of go from there. But it does a real good job at burning. You can also turn this thing down. You know, if you just want to get into biography, let me stop here, I'm losing count. But if you just want to get into biography, you can put the little tools. I bought a set for, I think it was like, I don't know, 10 or 15 tools for $11, maybe 20 tools. I forgot what it was on Amazon. But they'll also fit in here. It's just a screw terminal, so you screw them and put them in here. And it does turn down low enough to use those. So you can actually do biography with this without having to go out and buy a $250 razor tip. I've got one over here, but he's not strong enough to do this type of a burn. So that's why I made this one. But you don't need to buy that $250 razor tip outfit. This works just fine, even for the smaller tips. So let me go ahead and finish this and come up with some design to go around here. And we'll go from there. It does put off a lot of smoke.
When I've done that, I've used a small fan to blow the smoke away from me.
Yeah, that's what I was doing here too. I did do a save. When I first started, I was showing you the top of this and showing. Anyway, I've finished burning it, and now all I need to do is go ahead and turn out the. Well, I need to spray it first. I'm gonna spray it with black lacquer, so it is a uniform black everywhere. And just to make sure the edges and this right here is covered. The back I'm going to leave alone. I'll come back and finish this back in a minute. But before I do that, I'll turn this out. So I'll paint it black, turn this out, maybe put a little edge on this. I'm not sure what I want to do. And it's almost done. All right, so I have black lacquer painted on here. And so I'm going to trim this out, make a bowl out of this, and maybe I'll probably just go ahead and trim that edge just a little bit, just to make it show up better. But let me do that. With my screw up number 2.
And voila, all gone.
Okay, so I've got the front finish and coming back and gonna do this, the back, and gonna take this tenon out that I made. And I just take it down to a small piece down here and then I'm gonna grind that out. A little grinder. Put a little V grooves in it just to kind of dress up the bottom a little bit. Doesn't have to be matte. And I can't get way out here because the edge is wobbling a little bit. So I don't want to go too far out. But I think that's fine. It's like that. Okay, so I can take that little deal out, just grind that out, and it should be fine. But that would be my my plate. All right, I'm going to use my Merlin 2, if you can see that. It has a coarse blade on it, kind of like a cut saw, but it's very coarse, just to take that center out. And then I'll come back and sand that a little bit. Started out with 80 grit, and just going to go through the grits here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that tip is a 1/64th of an inch tip, with the smallest tip that razor tip makes. And that's what I like to sign with. So I just find a spot on here and just start trying to sign it. Okay, that's it, guys. So I've got it finished. My design opportunity, redesign opportunity, turned out fine. But this is my platter. I did put some rosettes in here, some different things. Finished the back of it, signed it, and it is ready to go. So I think it turned out pretty good. Y'all take a look at it. But this is all burned, dished out, and I finished it with Krylon, that triple thick Krylon. I couldn't buff it. You can't buff this out because it's so rough. So I just put a slick finish on it, glossy finish. But that's it. Thanks, guys.
Well done, Bob.
All right, let me see if I can. Yeah, you stopped it. All right, good. Yep, that was it, guys. Just wanted to show you the vaporizer and tell you that you could use the small tips too. You don't have to go out and pay a lot of money to get into biography if you don't want to. So, but it turned out pretty good. Any questions?
Very nice.
It turned out excellent, not
It
pretty
turned out
good.
real good, Bob.
All right. Well, thanks.
Hey, Bob, could you restate the size of the plank and the type of wood it was again?
That's beech, and it was probably about a 9-inch blank.
Okay.
3/4 inch, 7/8 inch thick. It's just your standard, wood. That's about 9 inches across here, and 3/4 inch thick. It could be, you could turn it down, but you don't have to. It's more for decoration than anything.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be super thin. But I did have two saves. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but when I first burnt these, when I was showing you, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, the pattern, and I didn't like the pattern that I had on this first outside rim at first. So I did put it back up there and turn it away. And I turned it back down again and then came up with this pattern that's on it now. And I like that real well. It's more like a basket weave pattern, and it turned
No
out.
mistakes. They're all opportunities.
That's it. It's just another opportunity.
Yeah.
And
I like the bead.
yeah, and then of course you saw the other one where it skated on me. So I just came back and took that away and put a bead in there, and it kind of dresses it up. It doesn't hurt it at all.
No, it looks great.
All right. Well, thanks,
Very
guys.
nice.
But yeah, it's just you can see where it's glued together here, but it's just the two different grains go in the different directions. But I think it turned out fine.
Definitely. Anyone else have any questions or comments for Bob on this?
Now, what gauge wire did you use on that particular burning there?
This one I had an 18 gauge wire, and like I said, Molly uses smaller stuff. I think hers is more like 22. But I wanted it coarse looking. I wanted it to be a large burn. And so the 18 gauge turned out real well.
All right.
How long did it take to burn it?
Not that long, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It goes fast.
Yeah.
Yep. If you choose to use a smaller gauge wire, if that's what you have, for instance, then you just make the coil, you use the larger nail and make the coil a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
It takes less power to make a smaller gauge wire hot.
Yeah.
Or smaller gauge, thinner wire is what I'm talking about. So if you use like 22 gauge, like Molly Winton does, you just use a bigger nail to make a bigger coil. And it's just things are tightly woven, But Bob's right. I mean, using a bit larger gauge wire, you get a bigger coil, thicker strands, if you will.
Thicker strand, it just shows up better. If you use the thinner stuff, then sometimes you have to kind of look at it close to see the actual coil burn, where it's burned. This shows up a little more pronounced, I guess.
Just a quick tip on the nichrome wire.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to a heating and air place that takes out old units, and the emergency strip heat on the top of a unit
Mm-hmm.
That coil in there is nichrome wire, and there's probably 200 feet in there. And all you got to do is just take it out, and you put one end in a vise, wrap a screwdriver around another piece, and just jerk it, and it'll straighten it out.
Is it not brittle at that point, or because I know if you get it too hot and too many times, then it does get brittle. So
No, it's not. No, it don't get brittle,
okay, good.
and it might not cost you anything.
Sure. I'm in for cheap, so.
This is a wire that's in a toaster. So if you got an old toaster, you can take the wire out of that too. So
Yeah, it's same stuff.
yep.
But for $10, I mean, it's not expensive. It's not you're gonna break the bank doing it. So.
We have a question in for the group. Has anyone tried doing a burning like that with a laser?
No, not here.
Well, it takes a lot longer to do with the laser than it does with the Molly Winton coil.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think
I mean,
the same
with
effect.
those coils, you can turn them up until they're glowing red hot like Bob did, and you can just zip right through it. So
Do I typically move the headstock?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because of what I have. I have a shop smith, and the shop smith moves, not the tailstock. You know, in your typical lathe world, all the lathes, you crank that tailstock in, and so it moving the tailstock in up against your piece that you're working on. And in my world, it whops the opposite direction. But it still works. I mean, it's still
Right.
same process.
Yeah. Still turning it around.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Once again, Bob, I appreciate it. That was an excellent demo.
All right. Thanks.